ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends. Namaskar. In this video I start, or you can say continuing from the previous video. This video is about the self-realization leading to liberation, and what are the various problems we encounter in this process. So I start with desired. Who feels that we are bound? Let us examine this important subject. When objectivity arises in consciousness, it becomes conditioned, limited. This is bondage. When it is abandoned, when you become without objectivity, when there is no object in the mind, you can call this no mind. No mind is liberation, freedom, emancipation. There is no difference between no mind and consciousness. See, no mind means the mind has merged with the Atma. That is the simple meaning. When the mind merges with the Atma, or you can say consciousness, so this is self-realization. After the ego and mind they are destroyed, so what is left is Atma, and this is what is known as self-realization. Okay. How is it possible to avoid this object? What is this object? This object arises in our consciousness, just as a beast, an ox or bull, is driven by a herdsman from behind. So craving is driving everybody. When you say I enjoy this, I enjoy that, it's not that you are enjoying, but you are driven like a beast by craving. You are driven by this craving from behind, and you go to meet the object like a beast. You become a beast of this craving. You say, I am enjoying, this is my desire, but this is not so. You have been driven and compelled by the object by your craving. This craving is your herdsman from behind. You are driven by any kind of desire. Almost all beings belong to this category. Men, dogs, all are driven by cravings of this world and also of the next world. They are driven by this craving, and therefore they suffer endlessly. How is it possible to avoid this craving? You have been driven by this object, by this craving, by this desire since time immemorial. You do not remember you have spent millions of years with this craving, but each time you forget you have spent millions of lifetimes. Where are the cravings? Where are the objects? Where are those relations of your incarnations prior to this one? You have been behaving in this way many times before. Now, this will also disappear and you will begin another manifestation like this one. It is a never-ending process. This world cycle is a never ending. How is it possible to end it? Just by no longer giving rise to this craving. It is the easiest thing and the most difficult also. I say it is the most difficult because we see very few who have been able to do it. Therefore, there must be some difficulty. I say it is also the most easy because if a man of reason chooses to be free, he has to just get rid of this craving and it will end. So, some say it is easy and some say it is difficult. It is difficult for those who are beast of craving, for those who have attachments, for them it is difficult. But in their final incarnations or in the company of some good person in contact with the sage, they will understand how to get rid of this craving. Staying near a sage, they will come to know this can be difficult, this can be very easy. I remember a story. There was a king who learned from his guru how to be free, and he became free. As a king, he was free. His wife, the queen, also used to go to the sage, and she was also free. They had two sons. The elder also became free, but the younger was too young. He had been hearing about the same subject, but he could not do it. He was not very much attached. He had lost about 50% of this ego, but yet he was somewhat attached. One brother was in difficulty, the other had done his work, and both parents had done it. The king, the father of these two boys, died. The queen was very fond of her husband. She said, why should I live here now? We have lived together. Why don't I go to this king? Why don't I go to this king? I will give him company. She knew how to dispose of the elements. One, our bodies are composed of five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and akash or space. That's what our body is made of, and that is what is outside of us. Earth, water, fire, air, and space, Akash, are all outside of us. Just as we borrow some money from our friends and return it, so we have borrowed these elements to fulfill our place. We borrow earth from earth, water from water, fire from fire. This queen knew the art of disposing of her body, and she turned back the loan that which had been taken from the earth part of the body is returned to the earth, the liquid of the body is returned to water, fire to fire, the air what we breathe in and out is returned to air, and space to space, so she also disappeared. This is an art, it belongs to yoga, but everybody can practice it practice it. It is not very difficult. Kabir did it recently in his lifetime, and many other people who prefer to disappear in this way have done it. At Kabir's death, the Hindus claimed he was a Hindu and wanted to cremate him, and the Muslims said he was a Muslim and wanted to bury him, so they were having a dispute. His body was covered and they went near the body to drag it away, and there were only two flowers. His Madi is near here in UP near Gorakhpur. He lived nearby in Magar, so one flower was cremated, the other flower was buried. Like this, the queen departed. The eldest son performed the ceremony, which has to be performed for departed parents with great honor and respect. He did not feel any kind of sorrow. My parents were enlightened. I am also enlightened by my enlightened parents. They are happy. They have gone to the region beyond the concept, and I can see where they are. The younger brother was crying and sobbing. His brother was asking, my dear brother, why are you sobbing? Why? What is the matter with you? But he did not listen. He said, your parents were enlightened people. They are not to be born again. You should be happy. The younger brother did not listen. He said, You are crying for those who are very happy at this time, and you have had many parents like these, your recent parents. You must cry for them also. You have been a tiger. What about your tiger parents? You have been a fish. What about your fish parents? You have been a mosquito. What about your mosquito parents? You have been a tree. What about your tree parents? You must cry for them also. Why don't you cry? I can show you all your millions of parents now. You can see them, and I can also show you your recent parents now. I can see them, and you don't, because you are not an enlightened person. Therefore, you are crying, you are suffering. You will have to suffer. This boy understood his brother. We can also end bondage if we give up craving for objects. How is it possible to stop this craving? How did this boy do it? How did his parents do it? When the craving arises in consciousness, it has to arise from somewhere. I want this, I want that, is all in between. When you become an experiencer, you want to enjoy objects of experience. To have enjoyment of any object, you must first become the experiencer and create an object of experience. These two things must be there, the seer and the seen. Between the experiencer and experience, there is experiencing. You are that experiencing alone. You are neither the experiencer nor the object of experience. This is missed. I am experiencing both the seer and the seen I am seeing. This you forget. You think I am the seer and this is the object of sight. We miss what is in between. If you stay between them in experiencing, this is consciousness. Everyone is having this experience of consciousness always. You will have no question. This experience between experiencer and experienced. What is this which is experiencing, which is neither subject nor object? You will have to inquire into this or directly ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Many people have difficulty in understanding this. Every day I receive letters from people who find it difficult to follow this. Not everyone is capable of arriving at this understanding or making the inquiry. It needs some discipline, some ground that has not been fulfilled. It is not possible to be engaged and busy with enjoyment of the senses and fulfilling your cravings on the one hand, and also wanting to be free, wanting to attend satsang, wanting to make this quest for self-knowledge on the other hand. This difficulty exists for those who are not free of running after desires and cravings. It is not possible to have both things at the same time. If you want to enjoy the world, nobody is stopping you. The world is there to enjoy, so enjoy it. And if you are already satisfied, then return now to your own self for enjoyment, having enjoyed your own beauty, your own consciousness, your own bliss. You have enjoyed everything. Either this is the time of satisfaction or you run after things. Nobody has ever been satisfied running after these objects. As one object is fulfilled in the mind, there are thousands waiting in queue. You have spent millions of years picking up one object after another. Those people who have found that these cravings cannot be fulfilled are fit for the instruction of the teacher. They come saying, now let me have knowledge. They have come for instruction and it will work. A dull mind which is engaged somewhere else is not listening to the instruction of the teacher and will not get the teaching, although the teaching is the same. It is said that those who listen to the teaching, those who come to the teacher, those who have satsang are in their last incarnation. They have tried everything else without finding satisfaction. They could not find it last time, so they have returned with only this desire for freedom. When there is only the desire for freedom, they will attain freedom. Whatever age they may be, they will set off one day to find the teacher and sitting with the teacher. This instruction will drive deep into their heart. They will see that there is wisdom and here is light. Trouble comes for those who are engaged elsewhere and still say, we want to be free. This is not going to pay them at all. If you have Amritam and cyanide in the same cup, it will not work. If you have to take cyanide, take it cleanly and see the result. That is the result that you have always been seeing. Now is the time to taste a drop of Amritam or nectar of bliss. What is this nectar? It is bliss, it is consciousness, it is existence. Nectar is that which, having tasted it, you get complete satisfaction with no more searching, with no more coming and going. The only trouble is this: you cannot at the same time have enjoyment of the senses and freedom. You will have to decide or use up your life and have another life. There is no problem. Each one of us has already lived 8.4 million incarnations to be here today. If this is enough, then let us now aspire for the freedom and for freedom alone, and let us see what happens. We are not speaking of any method anymore. You have had enough method. Certainly, no method is going to give you freedom because every method will need body, mind, and senses. Whatever you do, whatever you travel to holy shrines, to holy rivers, to temples, practice rituals or yoga, you need a body and need a mind, you need senses. This mind is the root of the problem itself. This mind is samsara, it is a demon 35 million years old. You are walking hand in hand with this friend since time immemorial, and you do not know who this fellow is. Still, you do not know. Why don't you pay company with him just for 5 minutes and see how free you are without mind? We have seen that when all objects are abandoned from consciousness, you have no mind. When there is no objectification in consciousness, you are immediately free. For some, this is very easy. Listening to the instruction of the teacher alone is enough. For some, dispassion and effort is advised. Dispassion and sadhana is advised. This sadhana is if you forget yourself, again and again return to this, again return to this, you will get rid of the mind. What is the mind? Just one thought is mind. This one thought is manifestation is 35 million years. Amendment of this one thought is freedom. So this is very easy or very difficult. When you enter the world I, it takes you back 35 million years. Just the thought of I, as far back as you go, will find an endless past in this one I. You refine the future and the present also contained in this I thought. This one I thought has created millions of people. It has created heaven and hell. This one thought is also the key to ending past, present, and future. It can also liberate you to abandon this one. I thought is liberation to cling to it is bondage. One is easy, other one is difficult. This is your choice, and you have to make your choice this instant. You are free from the beginning. Who told you that you are bound? You have chosen to be bound because of craving to enjoy, and you are not satisfied so far. Now, let us sit together and help each other to get rid of just this one I thought. How can this be called difficult just to get rid of this I thought? Where does it exist when you search for it or try to see it or touch it or feel it or even conceptualize it? It does not appear. We never look for this I thought. We like to be chased by it like a beast. Who are you? Who are you? Where do you come from? Many times you came and many times you returned. You have never attempted to ask yourself who you are. If you had done so, you would never have returned to this miserable samsara. When you have known this karma ceases to function, samsara ceases to exist, you return to your original fundamental nature, to being, to existence, to bliss. That is what you are. That is what you have been. That is what you are going to be. So here is how to do it. It is very easy. Let me introduce you to what is going on here. To begin with, find out who is the one who sees. Ask yourself the question, who is the seer? Find out what is seen. That which is seen is the object and seer is the subject. The seer subject must be separate from the object, different from the object. It is that which is seeing the object. The object is that which is seen. The seer is looking at the object. You are not the object. You may see anything, a horse, a cow, a car, a building, or anything. You are not that. You are the seer. When you experience your own body, you may think that you are the body, but you are not the body. You experience, I see the body, so you are the seer of the body. It is here that you make the mistake. You become the body and you forget that you are the seer. You have become an object when you say, I am doing, I am seeing, I am tasting, I am touching, I am smelling, I am hearing. You have lost your bearings and become the body. The seer is no longer separated from the body. Whatever is seen is an object. So, when the body is objectified, who is the seer? When you see the body, it becomes an object. Whatever you see is an object. If you see your eyes, they are objects. If you see your hands, they are objects. What about the mind? You know very well that if your mind is suffering, it is not at peace. You know the activities of the mind also. You know now my mind is thinking or not thinking. This means that you are also aware of the activities of the mind. You are something other than the mind. You are not the mind. You are neither the mind nor the body. The same is true of the working of the senses. You are working, walking, or talking. You know very well, I am at work, my hands are working. You know very well that you are not the hand, something else is commanding the hands to work. You are something other than the moment of physical activities. You are not even that. Now consider the intellect. You decide, I have to do this, I have to go to Lucknow. You decided and you are here. You guided the intellect to make the decision, let us go to Lucknow. Then you followed the intellect, so you are guiding even the intellect, and you know very well that the intellect is something other than you. Find out who you are here and now. You are the mind, you are not even the prana, the breathing. You know very well that breathing is in and out, inhaling and exhaling. You can feel I am inhaling and I am exhaling. You know the activity also. Who is watching the inhaling and exhaling? This is all that the body is. So whom are you? Who are you? You are not all these functions. You will have to ask the question, who am I? This is what we have come here to understand, and we have not done this at any time before. This question must be solved, but we have postponed it. Everyone has postponed it for millions of years. We will not postpone this here. There is no method to practice. Simply find out who am I. This is not a method or practice or sadhana. This can be done here and now in this instant because the self is here. Enlightenment means to know the self, to know who am I. This is enlightenment, this is wisdom, this is bliss, this is existence, this is being, this is truth. This truth is not located at a distance, it is your own self through which you are searching for truth and freedom. It is not any distance from here. It is within you, nearer than your own breath. It is behind the retina of your eye, which you cannot see. You need not look outside. It is behind the retina. It is that through which the retina sees. You need no effort to see it. When you when you still all activities without doing anything, without thinking any thought, when you do not stir any thought from the mind ground, without moving the mind, without starting a simple thought in an instant of time, you are free. When you give rise to any sadhana or practice, when you go to any center or ashram, when you go to any teacher or pilgrimage or church, when you make any prayer, you have postponed it. This is you have done. Be free of all these things right now, because free you have been, free you are. You cannot achieve anything other than what you are. Anything gained afresh or achieved for the first time, anything which is new to you, you will certainly lose because it was not there at all that is natural to you is already there. Do not try to achieve anything or gain anything or attain anything which is not already there. This is not a fresh gain. People think at the end of this sadhana I am going to be free, but it is not like that. You have been looking for something else, not freedom. Freedom is already here. When you expect effort, when you exert effort or practice sadhana, you will camouflage and cover the truth. You will have to remove this cover because it is you who put it there. This covering will be removed through your effort, and when all efforts are done away with, all our attempts, all intents and intentions, all ideas and notions are rejected. At the time, ask yourself, who am I? You will certainly find the answer. This is how freedom is already attained. You are already free. If you can hear this once from a teacher, you are free. If you cannot hear this, then practice. If you can listen to a teacher who is not a liar, who is speaking the truth, and if you are honestly longing for freedom, then listen once and you are free. If you are not honest and if the teacher is not authentic, it will not work. You will have to take up a practice if something is false somewhere. What is that practice? At that at all times walking, sleeping, dreaming, on waking, while standing, sitting, lying, go on chanting the mantra. I can recommend mantras also as a second best. If you can repeat this mantra from now till your last breath, I guarantee you will not appear again in a next birth. You will not fall into any worm. That is the mantra. I am free. Take up this practice if you do not believe me. If you can listen, if you long for freedom and you feel that I am honest when I tell you that you are free, then accept it. Hear this only once and you are free. If you do not accept what I'm saying, then I will give you a practice as a second best. You will have to continue practicing on every breath of the waking state, of the dream state, of the sleeping state, up to the last breath. Then I guarantee that you will not appear again in this miserable samsara. To hear this once is enough. It is no problem to be free in this life. You have lived 8.4 million times as different kinds of species. This cycle has taken about 35 millions year, and each of us has gone through so many such cycles. So let us now decide not to return again. Those who are here represent 6 billion people in the world today, without counting all the animals, birds, worms, and germs. Out of 6 billion human beings, there are very few of us here. Throughout the world, they do not allow you to even utter the words, I want to be free. If you say, I am free or I am God, you are put on a cross or stoned to death. Those few who have said, I am free, have been stoned to death or crucified. I am happy that you have freedom of expression. You are lucky, you are born of a lucky family, of a lucky land that has allowed you to come to some other country and search for freedom. You are twice lucky, and I trust that all those who are here will not return home as they came. I am having good results. This is the first time in history I see people every day come in front and say, I am free, I am free. They come from every country and see me saying, I am in peace, I have seen peace, I am very happy. They express it in many ways. This is never happened before. In distant centuries, people were performing tapas continuously for thousands of years, but we have very few examples of enlightenment. Only a finger count. We have to go back thousands of years to find some sage or saint we can quote about freedom, like Yagnavvalka, Vasishtha or Buddha. But here I am very happy to see many Buddhas appearing without sitting under any Bodhi tree. They are becoming Buddhas. This is happening in this century because now we have no time to go to the mountains. The mountains are all polluted now in Kashmir at 20,000 feet. Armies are standing abreast with their weapons and intention of killing each other. How can you meditate between two armies? It is best that wherever you find time, even in your own apartment, close your eyes and meditate. Search within yourself. There is no need to go to anywhere because there is no peace anywhere. Everything is polluted. We cannot even have fresh air. The ocean is polluted, the rivers are polluted, mountains are polluted, the land is polluted, food is polluted. What is there to do about it? You cannot even do yoga. For yoga, you need very sattvic food which is not available. The human lifespan is becoming shorter, so it is better to hurry up. No one has seen tomorrow. Today is the best day. You can win freedom right now. I do not advise any practice. I do not tell you to practice even for 1 minute. Just now, this instant, 1 second, half a second is enough any time today, but now you are free. Simply listen to me, simply have trust in what I say when I tell you that you are free. Do not doubt. If you need to doubt, then you will need practice it is your choice. Existence takes care. I will tell you the secret of sitting meditation, standing meditation, walking meditation, sleeping meditation, dreaming meditation, and active meditation in the battlefield as a soldier. Let me speak from my own experience as I never speak from what I have heard or read. It is better first to experience and then to speak. In 1953, I was loading a ship in Mangalore at a time when I was dealing in manganese ore. I stayed there the whole day for the loading, and once the hatches were closed, I got a bank draft from the captain to certify that the ship had been loaded with 10,000 tons of manganese ore for Rotterdam. I wanted to cash the draft immediately at the bank in Bangalore, which was about 500 miles away. It was already about 9 p.m. and I had to reach the bank by morning. I was exhausted as I had been working offshore for the whole day from early in the morning until late in the night. I was not near the wharf where I could easily get out of the ship, and if it was very hot, I decided that I should rest before beginning my journey and then start early in the morning. But when I realized that the bank would be closed and it will be better to cross the mountain pass and have a coffee and a nap on the other side and then go to Bangalore. The road over the hill climbed from the town at sea level up to 5,000 feet, making 11 hairpin bends. I don't know what happened. I could not stop on the mountain road between because there were wild elephants which had lifted cars up in the air and thrown them in the valley. 1 mile below, it was better to keep going and then to rest. When I arrived on the other side of the hill, my head was resting on the steering wheel. I woke up from a deep sleep feeling very fresh, no longer even needing a cup of coffee. I continued the journey to Bangalore having had a complete sound deep sleep. My head was resting on the steering wheel. I was feeling so fresh that I no longer needed a rest or a coffee as though I had slept for 8 hours. Who drove the car? This is a problem I have never been able to solve. Even in the waking state, drivers have accidents, but I was fast asleep. The road was narrow, no more than 15 feet. On one side was a high mountain, on the other side was a very steep valley, and I cut 11 hairpin bends. Who drove the car? I have never been able to find the answer to this. The other incident I want to describe to you happened in Lucknow. I was walking to the GPO, General Post Office, from Kaisar Bagh in front of what is now Janpat Market. I always kept a very safe distance walking on the left side of the road because sometimes I would never get out of meditation at all. I was neither troubling anyone else nor was I troubled by anyone. An old model Ford car came down the street at 1934 or 36 model, which footrest hanging on the side. These days cars no longer have footrest. The car hit me so hard that the footrest fell off onto the ground. People gathered around me saying they had noted down the number. The car had sped away, leaving only the footrest. They wanted to know if I was hurt and to go to the police. My pants were torn, and when I pulled them up, the car had struck me from behind. There was a little blood stain on the back of the knee, but nothing more. I told them I was perfectly alright. When you are in a meditation, you do not need to look after yourself. A power will rise which is moving the earth, which is causing the sun to shine, which is giving the moon its brilliance, and which is allowing all these jivas to function as they want. If you are attuned to that power, you will have nothing to do. Everything will be beautiful. That power will look after you in a way which is which you cannot manage. A man operating from his senses gets into many accidents, but I did not fall into the valley. I slept. Who took care of me? This is the greatest mistake, to fall asleep at the steering wheel. One is advised to be well rested before driving. Who cared for me? That power is there, but you are not looking at all. It is so compassionate that it will look after you. You have been denying it and depending on your own ego. Even this ego is getting its power from somewhere else to become ego, to become mind, to think, to become the senses, and to allow you to function. When you turn your face towards it, it will arise to help you. Otherwise, you cannot save yourself. How long can you be aware and careful? Meditation means no meditator and no object of meditation. Then you can do whatever you like. When the meditator is there, it is ego. This is not something to be decided intellectually. It has to be directly experienced. There is no end to arguments and logic. That has nothing to do with it. This is your own mother, your own supreme power which is here and now. If you close your eyes, you will see who is responsible. You do not have to travel even a yard out of your own self. You do not have to take one step. You do not need to think or even to meditate. You do not have to do anything. Just keep quiet as you are, and you have got it. If you try to search, you have lost it. There is nothing to search for. It is that though which is the search is taking place. It is that which is found after searching has ceased. If you know this is this it is enough. If you don't, you will never find rest in millions of years. You have already passed through 8.4 million species. If you are satisfied, then you will see this. If you want to hitch, hitch, hitchhike some more, the goal will not be attained. You can continue as you like and it will never end. If you want to end everything, it is ended now. If you want to continue, it will continue as you think. So you become, this is a formula. You think I am in trouble and you are in trouble. You think I am free and you are free. If you are attached to any object, you are in trouble. You are in suffering. There is manifestation if you want to, and this it is seized immediately in the recognition I am free. That is all there it is. What time do you need? Worship. During the lifetime of some enlightened beings, worship began. Even during the time of Lord Buddha, people worshipped stupas, worshipped statues of the Buddha. Some people don't believe in worship through statues. Those who invaded India at the time when Buddhist Dharma was strong demolished most of the statues and Buddhist monasteries were burned. But during the time of Buddha himself, he accepted Dharma and Sangha. Monasteries were established during the time of Asoka. Statues and stupas were built. Even today in many countries. Statues of Buddha are being built. Recently, statue 65 60 feet high was built in Bodh Gaya by the Japanese. Worship has been advised from time immemorial. Here we generally speak about consciousness, which is omniscient, omnipresent in everything, every atom. There is no place where there is no consciousness. So, what does worship mean? Many people get confused. Those who have been enlightened free, they have worshipped through stupas, through statues, and that is how Dharma has been living till today and it will live. I do not know of any religion which has not included worship. Buddhism is already 2600 years old, Vedic Dharma 25,000 years old. In Peru they have found a Shiva Lingam 25,000 years old. We are dealing with consciousness only, but it is very important to consider this matter. Many people write to me from the States and Europe. They say they are all right here, but when they return, they forget it. They lose peace and consciousness. I advise them to playfully worship wherever come whatever comes, whatever you do, listening to music, worship through the ears. Whatever you see, it has to be worshipped, adored, honored like this. You will not forget consciousness. When you say that consciousness is everywhere, this cosmic being has to be adored and worshipped in every being, every non being, in every situation. When you are happy in happiness, when you are not happy in unhappiness, In all situations, engage yourself. People say sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I lose it. Beyond both is consciousness, their own self. The self reveals itself to itself. This cosmic being which resides in all beings, in human beings and animals and birds, in everything, is conscious within you. In the cave of your heart is the conscious, whatever you hear, whatever you see. Conscious in the cave of your heart is the conscious being that directs you to see, smell, hear, activate your activities. This has to be worshipped, adored, honored wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you hear, whatever you see. Then how can you forget? Wherever you are in consciousness, and consciousness is within you. Worship this Purusha, this cosmic being within you. I do not know how this cosmic being has been an individual being. If it has become an individual being, then the cosmic being is residing within it. This knowledge that I am individual being must be in the cosmos. This cosmic being has entered the cavity of your heart. Somehow you feel separated. You feel that I am an individual being, a different personality. Where does this knowledge that I am an individual being come from? This knowledge is quite enough to be worshipped. If you can't agree that I am cosmic, then worship this knowledge at least, that I am this individual being. Many times I have made an attempt to express it. Reality, I have failed. It is said the mind cannot reach it, the senses cannot describe it. Somehow I have to do it. This longing will arise. It is not enough. You will have to go and see a teacher and listen to the teacher. First, you choose. I have to return to effortlessness. I want to be free. This longing is not enough. This longing rises from ignorance only. It is not wisdom. Any choice is from ignorance. Any longing is from ignorance. Good longing is also is ignorance, but it takes you to a teacher who tells you whatever he tells you, and that is also ignorance. It is ignorance because it cannot be conveyed through words. Your mind can listen, the experience cannot be had by the mind or senses. When the mind and senses admit their defeat, then you will have this experience. Let the individual dissolve and adore the Supreme Being. Let it emerge into the Supreme Being from where it arose. The individuality must come from somewhere. A wave arises from somewhere. The individuality rises when you say, this individual, you have returned with this thought. Now, this moment, where did this thought rise from? Individuality, this amount, this moment, go back and see. Don't make any effort, it will drop by itself. Don't make any effort, don't think it will drop by itself. Your longing will cease, my instruction will cease. Abandon the past. When you are walking and you become tired, you stop, you sit down, you relax. So when you get tired of trying to find solution to your problems, when you find no solution, sit down. By sit down, I mean don't try to solve the problem at all. The problem is in the past, it is not now. Don't think about past problems. Just leave them alone and sit down in this moment. You are relaxed. Listen to this moment and don't try to do anything. Just listen. This past is a problem. The past is mind. When you go to the past, all will be problems. So don't go to the past. The mind is the past and the past is a graveyard. Don't go to the graveyard. All problems are dead. So return to this moment without trying to solve the problem. Trying has put you in trouble. So don't touch this trying anymore. Simply sit down, keep quiet for one moment. This is the moment you need. This is the moment of rest. Keep quiet for a moment without going to the past, and you will find a relaxation. There is no other way. Simply do not think of the past. First, help yourself, which means to not think, and then, if you still need to, you can ask me for help. Just for this moment, do not think but direct your mind to its source. Bring the mind which is thinking, which is going to the past, to face this present moment, and this will give you eternal rest. Help yourself not to look to past moments, and do not find any problem in this moment without going to the past. Where is the problem? Has it gone away? Then you have helped yourself. This is truly self-help. You cannot buy this in market. You cannot acquire it. You cannot purchase it. It is not something to be had. It is something that is already here. Do not try to get things, achieve things, or to attain things which are not already here. Because whatever is absent, once you get it, will also be lost. Instead of reaching out after anything which is absent, discover that which is already here, which you do not need to try and attain. This will be something fresh, something which is here, which is now. Give up your desire to go something tomorrow. Do not allow this desire to start to rise up from the ground of mind. Abandon all your desire to get something which you do not already have. No desire is needed for that which you already have here. Instead of trying to get it, offer yourself up so it can get you. Be so beautiful that this will be attracted by your beauty. It will come and get you instead of you getting it. You are, who are you to get it anyway? Allow yourself to be taken by it. That's the only way. You must be immaculate, which means to be without desire. Your own nature is immaculate, so sooner or later you will know this. When there is no desire, there is no beauty, there is no love. You cannot disturb this beauty even by giving rise to a thought to get it. This thought will only be an impurity. Make sure that no desire arises, and you will be so immaculately beautiful, so perfectly pure and spotless, that everything will be instantaneously unfolded before you. Then this beauty will hug beauty you itself. Simply keep quiet, do not do anything, and it will happen. Abandon even the intention to get something in the next moment. Do not even make the distinction between this moment and the next moment, then something will happen instantaneously. Meditate on self. How can you meditate without knowing who am I? When you know who you are, then it will be possible for you to meditate on the self, Atma, or the truth, reality. Everybody says, I am so and so. No one questions, who am I? What is this I am? Where does it come from? Where does it go? Where does it stay? Several times it comes, several times it went, and this will continue for time immemorial. So you will have to find out who am I. Without this peace, bliss, existence, and enlightenment is not possible unless you know your own self. How will you know the self? So you have to find out who am I. So first of all, some are here for the first time from several backgrounds. That is what I hear. They have never heard of it. Some from the Buddhist background, some from the yoga background, some from devotional practices and various other centers existing in the world. I do not think this process, this way is being followed anywhere in the world, but only one ashram in here, and that is only in India, and that ashram is the ashram of my own master. I have gone round length and breadth of India, and I have also traveled around the world. All our practices, yoga practices for worldly pursuits and the rest, all with the mind, for the mind and within the mind. So directly this question none has asked in any of the ashrams. Therefore there is no result from any ashram. There is no result. I have never heard the product of any ashram who is free. Some people returned from here and declared I want freedom in a week, in a couple of days, in a couple of hours, in just 2 minutes also. From here there was a fire in the world, and they want to have an interview of these people, what has happened, and no one knew what is this thing. And it is possible for everyone, and it is possible if you devote yourself to find out who you are. It is not a difficult question to ask. You can instantly be enlightened. No postponement. Self is here, and your desire for freedom is also present here. Self is not away, it is here and now, and you are aspiring for freedom. What could be the impediment? Very serious student and perfect teacher, they have to work together, and the result is going to be instant enlightenment. Now question, who am I? First of all, when you put this question, at least your time is cut off. Ask yourself and find out. With the rise of this question, your time is cut off, mind is cut off, and your past is cut out. This is going to be the instant I speak about. Enlightenment in this instant during the question. You can just see, do it here. Ask this question, who am I? And see where is the mind. And if there is no mind, this is called light. This is called realization. No mind is called freedom. And this way arises when there is a vasana. Look at the miracle. As soon as this vasana arises, I want this, that's all. And see, past, present, future, universe instantly arises endlessly. They are in front of you, and you are in the terrible suffering. Instantly it arises, instantly it arises, because actually it is your own notion. I am bound, it is a notion. So to get rid of this notion, I want to be free, is also a notion. All these are notions, and they can be done away with instantly if you are really fatigued of a hitching for time immemorial. And those who are still comfortable this teaching is of no good for them. Let them enjoy the universe as best they can. And those who have seen this is not the place for happiness, love and bliss, for those few people who can discriminate, wisdom is for them. Because we have seen in the case of one prince, he decided 2000 years ago, on the bed he was with his wife, he decided I want to be free. He rises and gets off, he won freedom. And another was another king, he also was in the embrace of two queens on either side. He also had a thought at the time, I want to be free, and within that situation, instantly he freed himself. Maximum worldliness, kingdom, queens, and their diamonds, elephants, ministers. In this situation, he got free and appears in the books of wisdom also. So, quite a few people. Janaka was there, Bharata was there, Dasartha was there. Very few among 6 billion people, maybe finger count of wise men enough. One wise man in a country is quite enough to give us this message of peace. One line is quite enough in the forest instead of millions of sheep. So it is for those who really want peace, love, beauty, bliss, and they are the people who will have it, not the billions of people who are crowding in the world. So very few of us are here from the world, and I am very happy. This is excellent show, because I here in the forest band used to be one guru, one student, one guru, two students, one guru, three students. So they say the 20th century is the worst, because we have seen much turmoil in the country century, but I do not blame this century. Then then is all the good in this century also, because still so many people want to be free. So this is excellent century. Let us not blame the time. So the time has come now. We have been waiting for this century, which has brought us from here this morning with the sole desire of freedom, and we are going to be it and not postponing it till next life. We have been postponing. This universe means postponing. Mind means postponement. Mind always lives in postponement. I will do it later. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it when I get retired from my job, or after that enjoyment I am free. Never that time comes, so forget everything. Devote yourself for the self all at once, constantly, always here, there, everywhere. Meditate on the self constantly, and you are going to be successful. So, my dear friends, I end the video. Please like, comment, and share the video, and subscribe this channel. Please watch these videos several times, and tell your friends, relatives, children, and all to watch these videos, because they are very important. Okay, namaskar, my dear friends. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar.